from Bugeye, guys. This is a Bugeye that has arrived here from Minnesota to be prepared for a drive back to Minnesota. And it's always fascinating because every one of these cars that shows up has its own unique set of worn out pieces. But this is a car that's been in the family for a long time. A lot of history and relationship and love for this car, and it's time for it to get a good makeover. And you can see some of the things. This week we've posted a bunch of posts on our site, on our blog site, where you can see how we're starting to fix and take apart this car. One problem that he's got that I noticed is this is so dried out, it actually looks a little to me like the windshield is starting to move out of its frame a little bit. So we probably are going to have to address this. Sometimes you can move the glass pretty easily, but this windshield glazing is so dried out. I don't normally see them quite this crusty, but it's going to need to be addressed. I would hate for the glass to fall out of the frame, but also this windshield to body gasket, you can see that's just kind of cracked and relaxed, and so water will come through there the first time the car gets out in the rain. And of course, new wipers and arms will be in order. The car is just wonderful. If you like these survivor cars, there's the weathered finish that you often see on Bugeyes that have been around for a long time without restoration, and these kind of great period antenna, aerials, radio antenna. So lots to do here. We have a few areas of rust blisters coming through, but that's not terribly important with a car like this. We do have to address, though, why is the bonnet so proud here? There may be an issue with the bonnet strut. So lots of little cosmetic and structural things. You know, we can certainly fix things like these rubber trim pieces. Not too serious, but we have all that in our parts catalog and can put it to work here on a car like this. We have certainly a hood emblem to put in that hole. In the interior, you can see what happens with many of these cars for restoration. This is not the original seat set because these bands are a little too wide. These were replaced at some point in their journey, but these are the original seat pans. And what happens here, well, these are starting to come apart. This delamination probably means we'll need to put in new seat panels, but they will rust along this back edge. This one, it's hard to say without taking it apart, but a lot of times we can't attach to these. This is probably savable, but the foam inside weighs a ton. These are the original chambered, these round cells are the original foams that would have come from the factory. So they're overdue for replacement, simply because if I was driving this car from Connecticut to Minnesota, I'd want a little bit more padding. It just makes it a lot more comfortable. And we sell a really nice thick seat foam base in our catalog as well. We have here the original frames from the soft side curtains, so we certainly can make new replacements that would wrap around there with clear plastic. Those are not the sliding type that came later in production, but this car had, or at some point it came with those curtains or someone changed it. You can also see the top bow is here, but the holders are missing. The holders would go on the bulkhead there to allow you to put the top bow kind of at rest in this position so you could still reach into the boot. And in the boot, we have a very old spare tire. So it would be nice to be able to dress up this interior. You can also see the original door pockets there. That's the way they came from the factory. The door liners have long since departed. The doorknobs have gone away. All of those are things we can add. And then the horn bezel for that cone where that hole is on the dash, that's meant to have 3 screws holding it in place. We've got a very caramelized turn signal switch. As these things age, and we've seen this on many cars, they start to lose their corner there. So you have the color change, and these started out life black, but as the plastic or Bakelite deteriorates from UV light, you end up with this kind of gray color. Then we have a remnant from what so many of us did in our teenage days, this sort of, I think I want an interior light or whatever this is. There's a little light down there. I'm not sure what it's telling us, but it's probably going to go. And it didn't fit in the round hole, but we did it anyway, because that's how life was back then. That's what we did. Anyway, now we don't. This is the radio. At some point, a radio was punched in there. And this is contact paper that was applied, I'm sure, in somewhere around the early 70s to give it a spruced up look. The mirror has departed. The mirror, there's just a black hole of mirror frame there with no mirror anymore. So we'll fix all of that. But it's kind of wonderful to see the history and the choices and the decay of the various components, all of which, that's what makes it restoration, all of which we will restore here in our shop. And if you want to see some of the posts about the things that are loose in the front end and the rear end and everywhere else, they're all on our site at Bugeye Guys. We love this car, don't get me wrong. This is a very special car because you can't find them like this very often. But now our job is to make it safe and make it able to drive a couple thousand miles on its next voyage. So we have a lot of work to do. Thanks for watching here at Bugeye Guys.